Hello and welcome back to Evolution. Today we're going back into the build section and I'm thinking we're gonna knock out our next wood type. So we did oak 2 episodes ago, and then last episode we did our primary color house, and so now I'm thinking we're gonna knock out our next wood type, and that wood type would be, hang on actually. Oh, spruce does come next. I've already decided that I'm gonna do birch. Now let me go back to, let me get these. I'm gonna be totally honest with you guys right now. I think birch is probably my least favorite wood in the game. So this is gonna be interesting, because I almost never use these blocks. Excuse you. So I'm not a huge fan of yellow, and I'm not a huge fan of pastels. And I feel like birch wood is just like a wannabe pastel yellow. So I have a really hard time with this block. It doesn't have a lot going for it in my book. So I think I'm gonna have to, I don't even know what colors work with this. So I'm gonna do some staring and I'll check back in. I think that was a good staring session. I have some colors. I have a palette. Let's see what I can do with it. The skulk is a maybe. And I don't... all of our builds so far have not included this many colors. So we'll see if I use all of this, but we at least have like a launching point, you know? So I'm gonna start placing blocks. Let's see where this goes. Okie dokie. It's done. And I actually really like it. Let's see here. I haven't edited the time lapse yet, so I don't know how that turns out, but I tried a ton of different combos before we landed on this. Birch is just a really, whatever shade of yellow it is, it's really hard for me to work with. And even now, I feel like the blue, what is that? Yeah, even now I feel like the cyan powder is a little too vibrant next to the birch, but it's, I don't know. None of the other, let's see. We'll just use powdered concrete as the other one I was debating with is the green concrete powder. I feel like this could have been I didn't play with this one. Okay. Oh, the torch fixed it for me. Thanks, torch. This one I feel like could have been interesting. And it's definitely another option. Like, there's multiple variants of each of these wood type. There are multiple palettes for each wood type. Like, that is definitely a thing. Cyan is not the only color that works with birch wood. I actually think this green works really, really well. It definitely is more of a kind of like swampy tone. Like, it's much more earthy, and there's nothing wrong with that. I love earthy. Oh my gosh, earthy is so good. But the only reason I didn't really test and go with the green is because I know I'm going to be using the green with the spruce. I know I am. Or jungle. Spruce or green is going to be used with either spruce or jungle. That is a guarantee. So I intentionally avoided green, even though it's a very real option, just because I know I'm going to be using it with one of those two. So this is where we landed. Cyan. I'm not a huge blue cyan person, so I figured that this would be a good place to use it, because I'm not planning on using it for our other tree types as we get to them, except for obviously the warped is kind of forced, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Yeah, I really like how this turned out, though. It's really nice. I'd live here, and I think that's mission accomplished. Like, check that box. Oh my god, my brain is just not right now. Okay, let's talk about the birch logs. I don't know if you also saw this in the time lapse, but I originally started with the birch logs, but the texture, I really like the texture, but it is really overpowering, and it's so white that it's hard to pair it with stuff. Like, I honestly, looking into future episodes, am really intimidated by the pale oak. That's going to be an interesting one. That's going to be a really interesting one. And so I knew that I wanted to use the birch log somewhere, not stripped, but I couldn't do the whole house in it. It would be way too overbearing, way too much texture. And so we landed on the stripped, because it still keeps the wood in there, but it's much more muted and calm and just blends better. Blend is the wrong word. It's less noisy. How about that? And then I just really like this copper block. It's one of my favorites, and I knew I wanted to work it in somehow, and I've been doing accent colors on the little tower roofs, so I figured that would be a good spot. I wanted to break up the mud into different, I wanted to use different blocks other than mud, but mud was the only brown colored block that has stair and slab variants without getting into the other woods. And I didn't want to do spruce because then it would just end up being a spruce house, because I have no self-control when it comes to spruce because it's the best. So like this, the waxed copper was the next best besides the mud, but that little kind of reddish green tint was just not mixing very well with the cyan. So it, as much as I would love to break up the mud, it's just the only stair variant option we have. So we made it work, and I think it works. I think having the cohesion of the mud and the strip spruce throughout the whole thing kind of helps keep the cyan tame, because cyan, I feel like, is a really just kind of obnoxious, demanding color. It's like, it's very similar to red. Red is a very demanding color. It makes itself known, and if you don't know how to do it properly, it just takes over and drowns out everything else. And so I think having the consistency of the birch, strip birch logs, and the mud just on everything does a really good job of keeping the cyan kind of grounded and not running away and just overwhelming everything. But this also, I'm going back to the green. This would look fantastic in green. I almost am tempted to replace all of the cyan with green just to check it out, even though I'm fairly confident I will be using green for jungle or spruce. I don't know, actually. Do we challenge ourselves? Hang on. I'm gonna do it. Hang on. Because I don't, personally, texture is a really big thing for me, and I don't like a ton of texture. Let's see here. It's funny that I say that I don't like a ton of texture, but literally last episode I was complaining about how actual concrete doesn't have enough texture. Oh, yeah, I like the terracotta. Terracotta's good. But now I feel like the birch logs are sticking out a little bit too much. Like, you can't, I personally feel like, I don't know, color balance is a big thing for me. I don't even know if color balance exists. It does in my brain, though. And so now I feel like the birch is popping too much. And so the nice part about the cyan is it pops equally as much as the stripped birch, and so they balance each other out. You know? Am I making any sense right now? Whereas with the dark green terracotta, it doesn't, I mean, a dark color being next to light colors, the dark color is going to pop, but it's a different kind of pop, especially with the mud. Like, the mud keeps the dark green grounded, and they're very cohesive together. And so now the yellow birch feels like an outlier. Is that making any sense? Are you guys seeing what I'm seeing? I still think that this is a very real possibility and is totally another palette option. It just depends on your personal style. And for me, in trying to kind of mute the birch a little bit, I don't think the green is ideal for muting the birch. So if birch is your favorite wood in the game, by all means, now make yourself a green terracotta house, because it's gonna make that birch pop. But I don't like birch, so I'm trying to keep it muted and more subtle. And so by adding another really demanding poppy color to it, they balance each other out, but then the mud still keeps everything grounded. And so it's not just like this obnoxious color bomb, if you know what I'm saying, you know? I don't even know what I'm saying, so it's okay. And then I did use a little bit of spruce, but it just matches the mud the best. And again, trying to keep the birch muted, I didn't want birch fencing. I feel like it would have been too much. And so this is where it landed us. I did use birch fencing in the window on the towers. I did it on the front one too. But again, like, I'm trying to mute the birch, which is maybe the wrong approach, being that this is supposed to be the birch house. But this is, I don't know, this is where we landed, and I really like it, and I feel like that's kind of all that matters. But I am also very interested and opening to hearing your opinions. Do you guys like it? Do you not? Should I try a third color besides blue and green, or cyan and green, whatever? Let me know. Let me know your thoughts. But going through, it's been fun. It's been fun messing with different palettes, because I kind of have my set palette. That's one of them. And then my spruce palette. I also really like. And so it's been fun to just kind of step out of my usual 3 palettes that I bounce between and try something new. So anyways, I'll stop rambling. Birch. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you guys so much for watching, especially if you made it this far. I love you. God loves you. He sees you. He wants to go through what you're going through with you. So just reach out and he'll be there. I promise. I hope you guys have an amazing rest of your week, and I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.